Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to part number, I have absolutely no idea, of the 75k Q&A answers. I really don't know what part we're on at this point. I've completely lost track. It's the following day from the previous video, so officially so far, in order to answer the questions that I got after a single day of the video being up, it's taken me an entire day to answer them, so that's great. Anyway, I'm here with a glass of water, ready to carry on where we left off. So, Claudius, by the way, he's still sat outside and has been for like 2 in-game days probably by this point. But, I mean, I could take him inside and sit down inside the house or something, but then we'd have to deal with Greg going, "Stupid dog," every 5 minutes on repeat, which would really be quite annoying. So, let's not do that. The view is much nicer out here anyway. So, doodly-doodly-doo, let me look at the list. Right, Ashley Ashton asks the following. What is your opinion on the current direction of Bethesda? I guess my opinion on the current direction of Bethesda is that I am no longer part of their target audience, I don't think. I don't think Bethesda are trying to make games that appeal to the kind of gamer that I am. Once upon a time, they did. Not anymore. And that's, as far as they're concerned, it's probably for the best. I think if... I hate to admit it, but I think if Bethesda were trying to appeal to people like me, they would go bankrupt pretty quickly, because my kind of ideal game from them would not be very interesting to the majority of the people who do play their games nowadays. You know, as much as we berate them constantly for dumbing down and making their games simpler and less interesting and blah, 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 their profit margins have only gone up and up and up and up and up and up and up. So it's difficult to speak, I say sense, but it's not a question of sense. It's difficult to try and convince a developer and a publisher who is that successful that they're doing something wrong, when quite clearly they're not. So, and I don't think you can convince them, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, you know, I don't think Bethesda's making the kind of games that I want to play necessarily these days anymore, judging by Fallout 4 and now obviously Fallout 76, and I've no idea what Starfield's going to be like. We obviously have no idea what the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be like, but what is clear is they're moving further and further away from the games they made that I really enjoyed, and the peak of my enjoyment with the Elder Scrolls series has obviously been Morrowind, and it's sort of decreased since then. And the more games they make, the further away they move from that baseline for me. I've said this before, but these days I don't really consider myself an Elder Scrolls fan so much as I consider myself a Morrowind fan. I think that's probably true of a lot of people, particularly people who watch my videos. When you sit down and think of it at the end of the day, are you really an Elder Scrolls fan, or are you a Morrowind fan? Because I feel like I'm a Morrowind fan at the end of the day. I enjoy the other Elder Scrolls games, but Morrowind is the one that I really, truly, dearly love and always have, and have played the most out of all of them, and was my sort of main introduction to the series and everything. And Morrowind has always been the yardstick by which I measured all of Bethesda's other games. So, yeah, I don't know, like, even extends to things like the setting. The Elder Scrolls setting, you know, Tamriel and Nirn and everything. I don't even find the setting very interesting outside of Morrowind. I think that one province in Tamriel I find fascinating and really interesting, and I still, to this day, love going back to play that game and delving into the books and the lore and stuff like that, and learning things even now I still didn't already know. But when it comes to the rest of that Elder Scrolls setting, I sort of don't give much of a damn, to be honest with you, because the rest of it just isn't very interesting by comparison to me. So, I don't know. But yeah, the current direction of Bethesda is it is to make games that are still technically RPGs, but a very different kind of RPG to the sort that I'm used to and that I personally would like to play. And it seems to have worked well for them so far, so I don't expect them to change that direction anytime soon. So, yeah, there you go. That's my opinion on the current direction. Moving away from what I would like it to be, but it's doing well for them, so I can't blame them. The Beer Baron 01 asks, what is it about the Warhammer 40,000 universe that appeals to you the most? Probably the artwork. All of the old school artwork, the John Blanche stuff, all that kind of thing. That was one of my first introductions to 40k, was leafing through a 3rd edition rulebook and looking at all the pictures and thinking, whoa, this is some weird and interesting shit, the likes of which I've never seen anywhere else before. And then I saw all the models, and then I read a lot of the narrative stuff in the book and stuff like that. And from that point on, I was kind of hooked. But the initial thing that made me stop and go, crikey, look at that, was definitely probably all of that old John Blanche artwork. That was what made me stop in my tracks and say, wow, this is a bit different. This is interesting. There's loads of things I like about Warhammer 40,000, from the tabletop game to the narrative to the modeling to the artwork and everything. But if I had to pick one thing that appeals to me the most, as you say, it's probably that old artwork, honestly. Because the narrative is great, but it, as with all narratives like this, it has high points and it has dreadfully low points as well. The tabletop game has had high points and dreadfully low points, and same goes for the video games, based around the setting and stuff like that. But the artwork for 40k has always pretty much consistently been brilliant. So, yeah, there you go. And I'm an artworky kind of person, like I said. You know, I did a year of illustration at university. I did a diploma in fine art at college. You know, kind of an arty person, visually minded sort of a person. So cool artwork will always grab me, for sure. Teofish asked, what is your favourite biscuit and why? I'm not sure I have a favourite biscuit. I could try and pick one and I would fail. We'd sit here for 30 minutes talking about different types of biscuits. I'll give you like a top 5. Shortbread in no particular order, by the way. Shortbread biscuits, Jammy Dodgers, Bourbon creams. I don't think Jaffa cakes count as biscuits, do they? No, they don't. Hobnobs. And... And... Oaties. Fucking love Oaties, actually. Especially the ones with the chocolate on them. Really good, yeah. Actually, there you go. So there's my top 5 biscuits for you. Midnight Scar. Scrolling up here. Keep losing my place, sorry. There's got to be a better way to do this. I'm literally just reading the YouTube comments page at the moment, and yeah, the scrolling's a bit all over the place. Sorry about that. Midnight Scar, though, asks, will you release a preset for your Skyrim character Claudius? I'd love to play as him in my own Skyrim. He's a living legend for me. Keep up the good work. I love the videos. Also, any chance for his Paradox strategy game, especially Arts of Unfold? Well, we already mentioned that, so I won't go over that. I won't go over that again. As for a preset for Claudius, I don't even know how you do that, so probably not. I wasn't even aware that was a thing. Character presets. Didn't know that was a thing. And even if I did know that was a thing, I can assure you I have no idea how to do it, so... Official Me asks, which game has disappointed you the most? Well... Fallout 76. LOL XDXD. No. What game has disappointed me the most? See, this is a tricky one to answer because I'm not the sort of person who gets very easily hyped up about stuff. I try to avoid hype trains altogether because I know they always invariably do lead to disappointment. So, but I tell you what, one example does stick out to me a lot above all of the others, and that was Rome 2 Total War, or Total War Rome 2, whatever the fucking official title of that garbage dumpster fire is. Yeah. Total War Rome 2, that is probably my biggest gaming disappointment that I can, in recent memory, that I can remember. Rome Total War, the original Rome Total War, is, as I've already explained, you know, I was a modder for it. I played the shit out of it. I read up on loads of the history surrounding that period. I became a total Rome nerd about that game. Thanks to that game. So Rome 2, the sequel to Rome Total War, which was my favourite Total War game, and probably still is my favourite Total War game. There was a lot of expectation there. And even though Creative Assembly had previously dropped the ball with, like, Empire Total War, they had made up for it with Napoleon, and then they made Shogun 2, which I think most people agree was pretty good. So expectations are actually reasonably high for Rome 2, because this has just come off the back of Shogun 2, which loads of people really loved. So the expectation was, okay, so Rome 2 is probably going to be quite good then, you would think, right? How could they possibly fuck this up? And yet they did, in almost, looking back now, comically bad fashion. The game was glitchy and buggy in the extreme. I don't think I've played a AAA release that was buggier than Rome 2 when it came out. It was an absolute train wreck in that regard. Gameplay-wise, I thought it was rubbish. The AI in the game remains to this day, by the way. A lot of people say, oh no, you should go back and try Rome 2 again. They patched it up and they added DLC and it's good now. And I've gone back and I've tried Rome 2 with all the patches and DLC and stuff, and I still think it's a flaming piece of garbage, unfortunately. I even installed a bunch of mods people recommended to me. I followed all of the recommendations. I was like, I will give this game a fair chance. I will try. And I loaded it up, and I'd started a campaign, and one of the first battles I did was me with like 300 town militia defending a town against a huge enemy army, and I won the battle because the enemy army's AI was too stupid to actually try and march into the town and attack me. It just stood there outside the town for 30 minutes doing absolutely nothing, and the timer ran out and I won. And it was at that point I was like, no, this game is still a piece of shit, and I closed it, and I have never played it again ever since, and I probably will never play it again. So, yeah. No, Rome Total War 2, piece of crap. Probably the biggest disappointment of a video game I can remember in a long time. Yeah. Blech. Blech. Let's move on to something else, shall we? I've lost my place again. Hooray. Aaron Bacon asks, is YouTube your only job or your job at all? It is my job. I technically have two jobs as I see them. I'm YouTube, and B, Twitch. They fall under the same kind of umbrella because they're very, very much linked. I share the audience there to a large extent, but they're kind of two separate things at the end of the day, really. So, yeah, YouTube and Twitch are my job. My only job currently. So, I pine for the fjords. Asks, what has been your favourite experience in your storytelling? Don't know. I guess finally finishing Claudius's tale Orders' Let's Play. That was an immense feeling of relief. Finally managing to slog all the way to the end of that saga and call it a day. Yeah, I suppose that's probably my favourite sort of crowning achievement in my mind. Master of Munda says, keep up the good work. I've been here since Claudius was searching for a steel sword, but having no luck with it. Always been my favourite channel, and I hope you catch up with Gopher one day. Thanks. I probably will never catch up with Gopher, but that's okay because I'm not really trying to, so that's fine. Dans asks, are you a big fan of Rykon roleplays, and if so, have you ever come into contact or been influenced by him? I do not know who Rykon roleplays is, sorry. So the answer is no to both of those questions. Beast Mode 1425 says, got some good book recommendations. We've already dealt with this question 6 times already. I'm just going to move on. Sorry, Beast Mode. Mr. Dead Bro says, what are some games you absolutely don't like? Rome 2 Total War. In case that wasn't obvious enough yet. There's a few Total War games I can list up there, actually. Rome 2 is the top of the flaming pile of garbage, but also Empire. Ugh, piece of crap. What else? Attila I always thought was a piece of crap because, in spite of the gameplay and the AI being okay, it ran like garbage. It's such a comically badly optimized game. It's preposterously badly optimized. It boggles my mind. Even the newest Total War games that have come out recently, like Total Warhammer 2 and Thrones of Britannia, they still manage to run better than Attila for some fucking reason. I don't understand why Attila runs so badly, but it runs badly enough that I just cannot play it. Even on a computer like mine, which is no slouch. So, what some games you absolutely don't like? Let me think. What else? I don't like being this negative about some games, but some games really are quite awful. Any kind of karaoke game? No. Not interested. That goes for dance games as well. No. No, thank you. What else? Oh, rhythm games like Guitar Hero as well. Ah, God, no, I'm so terrible at those. And they're always a party game too, so you have to play it in front of everyone else, and I'm so really bad at it. It's just an embarrassing experience. Because everyone else is always better at me, better at Guitar Hero than me. So, God. Oh yeah, any kind of multiplayer game that requires me to play multiplayer with total strangers. Yeah, fuck that noise. Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, modern Call of Duty multiplayer, Fortnite, PUBG, fucking Hearthstone. I don't, anything like that. Anything like that. No, thank you. Be gone. Rather tear my eyes out with a spoon, to quote the late great Alan Rickman. Or to paraphrase him at least. So no, yeah. We already kind of touched on the whole multiplayer thing previously, but yeah, no, any kind of game like that. World of Tanks, World of Warships, fucking War Thunder, anything like that. No, just no, 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 no. Thank you. Be gone. Go away. And Battlefield as well. No, sod Battlefield. No, I haven't played Battlefield since Battlefield 1942. So, well, actually, I have played Battlefield games since then. I've just not enjoyed a Battlefield game since Battlefield 1942. So, yeah, no. Blech. Getting shot in the back from a mile away simulator. That's what Battlefield is to me these days. William Long says... Oh, actually, I've skipped one. Oh, my bad. Davey Nolan... We'll get to you in a minute, William, but Davey Nolan says, do you plan on
Plan to bring any modern or recent video games to the channel, or are you sticking to your more typical seasons lineup? Well, as I've already said, I tend to stick to games I've already played, because I don't like playing stuff blind. So that will typically end up being older games that I have actually played, as opposed to new releases that I haven't. So, yeah. I don't have anything against new games as a concept or anything like that. I'm not, like, in principle against new video games or something like that. It's just that A, new video games are quite often not very good in my eyes, and B, they are new and I haven't played them before, so it's very unlikely you'll see me do videos of them. So, William Long, moving back to you, sir, says, hey, Dave, congrats on the milestone. You'll be up there with Frankie on PC one day. Again, I don't know who that is. I'm so out of touch. Question, do you have modding experience with other games besides Morrowind? Well, yeah, as I've already explained, I did loads of modding for Rome Total War. I even did some for Medieval 2 and Empire, actually, as well. So, but yeah, only a little bit, though, but yeah, it was mostly Rome Total War modding. If so, what was your favourite project? My favourite project was getting to work on Roma Surrectum 2. And everyone's snickering now, because no, Surrectum. But... yeah, there was a total conversion mod for Roman Total War back in the day called Roma Surrectum. It's even making me grin slightly, actually. But anyway, and it was the funny thing about the title of that mod was we all knew it was grammatically incorrect as well, because it would technically be Roma Surrecta, I think, would be the correct Latin for that. But whatever. But that was probably my favourite project I ever got to work on. It was massive. It was loads of people working on it. It's the closest I've ever gotten to actually being as part of almost like a game development studio. It was crazy. The amount of work and research and all sorts of shit that was going on as part of that project was insane. It gave me to this day an incredible amount of respect for modders in general. My part in it was relatively small. I just sort of mostly proofread some documents for interim versions, and I did lots of beta testing, and I did some concept work for things that never ended up getting put in the game in the end. But the end product, nevertheless, was fucking phenomenal. It's still probably one of my most ranked up there, most impressive, most just favorite mods of all time for any video game. Honestly, was Roma Surrectum. Roma Surrectum 2, 2.0 specifically, which was like a complete rebuild. Like any previous versions to that were just, it was like a completely unrecognizable, totally different. Roma Surrectum 2.0 was almost like Roma Surrectum was, in my mind, what Rome Total War 2 should have been. We even upgraded the game's graphics. We had like high resolution textures. We had new high polygon models. We pushed the number of units you could put in the game to the absolute fucking hard-coded maximum that the engine even allowed. We managed to inject new graphical effects into it, like bloom and HDR lighting and things like that. We built an entire external launcher for it, which allowed us to get around a bunch of hard-coded limits for things like the number of factions you could put in the game and things like that. It was a titanic undertaking, and it produced something fucking incredible, honestly. One of the most just bonkers total conversion modding projects I've ever seen. So it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn here a bit, really, but honestly, my involvement in the project was pretty minor compared to the amount of work some other folks put into it, especially the text stream modeling guys, and the research guys who did all of the digging in historical records and stuff. But yeah, no, hands down, favorite modding project I was ever involved in was definitely that. So, it's really dark in here, isn't it? Like, Claudius is practically invisible at this point. Bloody hell. What? Prepare to die. Oh dear. There's a werewolf. What is it doing? I suppose it's probably killing my cow or something. Fucking bastard. Anyway. Greg will probably kill it, honestly. Anyway, so moving on. Diddly doodly doo. Oh my god. I'll be right back, guys. And we're back in the room. Please ignore the blood splatters on the floor and the dead werebear in the corner. Non-event, I assure you. I guess this is just what you get for building your house in the middle of nowhere. You get accosted by random werebears for some fucking reason. Dickhead. Alright, anyway. So, trying to record a fucking Q&A video here, mate. What, did you think you'd be famous? You'd be a celebrity? You'd go, oh, I'm gonna go get on YouTube, hooray! No. You're dead now, idiot. Right, so anyway, continuing on. That was a bit weird. I thought it was a giant at first, and then I heard the growls, and I was like, oh, for flipping hell's sake. Anyway. The bastard actually went in, he came from down there, he went into the fucking house, and he appeared out of this trap door. Like, he came all the way up here specifically to kill Claudius. Because obviously I think Claudius is out here in the external cell, and that's how the AI decided it wanted to work, so... Anyway, Skyrim, why are you so dumb? Anyway. So continuing where we left off. Doodly-doodly-doo. I think I was reading something by William Long, yeah. Do you have any modding experience with other games besides Morrowind? Yes. Went through that. If so, what was your favourite? Yep. I remember in the Pathos LP you changed a makeshift temple in the Vivek Underworks to suit your needs. I really enjoyed that. It was so simple, yet very suiting for Pathos. Keep up the good work, Dave. You've got an knack for these LPs. Yeah, I've that was a fun little side project to do, actually. There's more like that I have planned, although I don't really want to spoil it, actually. There's more little bits like that I have planned, because the beautiful thing about Morrowind is that its construction set is so easy and simple to use. Even a dumbass like me can actually get some mileage out of it, so... yeah. I might be doing some more stuff like that in the future with it, so... Anyway. Jum says, is it tiring for you to make and play characters just to be forced to cheat due to errors in a game, brackets talking mostly on Elder Scrolls games, just to be scolded by some comments, if any? Because sometimes you sound really bothered about the comments for trying to teach you things you probably already know. Oops. There we go. Sorry, alt-tabbing. There's a read more a bit as well. Also, sorry for bad grammar. English is my first language. Well, yes, it can be utterly exhausting sometimes when the game is against you and when the comments are against you as well. That's YouTube at its worst, really. That's the lowest point you can get to sometimes doing this whole YouTube thing, this Let's Playing thing. It's when the game's fucking with you, and the comments are fucking with you as well. Those are the moments that make you sit there, put your head in your hands, and go, why am I doing this? Why the fuck? What is even the point of all this? But luckily, those occasions are pretty rare, so, you know, not to make it sound like a bigger deal than it actually is or anything. You know, that sort of thing doesn't come around very often. But yes, sometimes it can be utterly exhausting when that happens. Joel Brigley asks, what was your favourite chapter of your Skyrim Let's Play and why? It was Chapter 5, because it was Dragonborn, and I hadn't played Dragonborn before. I went into the whole quest line blind, and I was absolutely delighted by it. It was the high point of the entire series for me, and a bit of a high point for Skyrim in general for me, actually. It's my favourite DLC that Bethesda have done in ages, and I really enjoyed it. I thought Dragonborn was bloody marvellous. I thought it was great, and I was actually kind of sad to leave it behind, but I had pretty much done everything there was to do there, with the exception of Karstag, who I never got around to doing on camera, even though I did go there off camera, and I did fight Karstag and stuff like that. I didn't add that to the save game, which is why Claudius still has Karstag's skull in his inventory. But I did actually go there as a player, you know. I did explore a few of the bits that I missed in the main playthrough. So yeah, no, I thought Dragonborn was really good. That was the high point for me. So yeah, and it finished off, tapered off quite nicely with the companion's quest finally unbuggering itself immediately afterwards and being able to finish that quest line as well. I think Dragonborn immediately followed by that one little one-off special I did where we finished the companions finally. That was the high point of the entire series for me, for sure. Definitely. It kind of... I'll be honest, it kind of went a little bit downhill after that point. Once we got into Dawnguard and stuff, I don't know if I should have bothered with Dawnguard looking back, honestly. I feel like I probably could have skipped Dawnguard and it would have been just fine. I just did it because it had been ages since I'd done Dawnguard and I just felt like I should. But in all honesty, if looking back, I think maybe I should have skipped it. I don't think it added anything to Claudius's character development at all. It was just yet another stumbling block / bit of procrastination in the way of doing the end of the main quest. The Roderick Redbeard stuff, that was fun. That was Some Guy 2000 being Some Guy 2000, but this time in Skyrim, and I found it hilarious and silly and a welcome diversion from the rest of the playthrough. That was great. I really enjoyed the whole Immersive Idiots questline thing with Roderick. That was great fun. But yeah, Dragonborn was definitely the high point for me, so my vote goes to Chapter 5 as being the best one. So, right, that's 31 minutes in the bag. I'm going to stop the recording now and continue in the next video, which I will see you in, hopefully. So yeah, I'll be right back.